Friday, I'm going live in the middle of my workday. Literally, here we go. Start again. Friday, middle of my morning, and I am committed to going live every day. Whether or not I post that directly live or I post it some other method, remains to be seen. So today I was just like, man, I'm in the middle of a workday, and I'm trying to show people some things, a lot of things. Um, Number one, I'm here to show you that, man, you don't have to have something to talk about every day to start talking. What you're doing right now is relevant. If you're a leader, what you're doing right now is relevant. So I literally got a couple things going on right now. I'm actually kind of multitasking. Normally, I don't like multitasking, but in this scenario, going live is part of that multitask. So I want to explain to you literally just what my morning has looked like to this point, what I've done prior to this morning to set me up to accomplish what I want to accomplish today, and talk about the challenges that I face just getting inside of this space of creation, which I'll call, because I am in a creative season. I'm starting something new inside of my business. And so it's not a typical season. When I say season, I just mean there's just a longer period of time, it may be months, where I need to be more in the creator slash visionary type of mindset. So number one, start with awareness of that. You have to start with that awareness, because a typical day when you have an established business is not predominantly sitting in the creator seat or having a visionary mindset. Because if you just walk around with, you know, creative thoughts and vision in your mind all day long, you actually don't get anything done. There comes a time where you have to step away from that visionary mode and actually go to work. So that's why, you're supposed to set time aside annually, quarterly, weekly, monthly, daily, in smaller increments inside of each of those spaces. So I'm not going to get into all of that today. What I am going to do is respond to this text thread that I've got going on. I'm going to tell you about it in a second, because I want to actually talk about this as it's going on. So I'll come back to this because I'm being sold at the moment. I'm very aware that I'm being sold, but it's okay because I'm working on something related to this, and I'm doing two things. So I'm going to tell you about that in a second. So give me 1 second as I pause this, pause my thought. All right, let me answer that question. All right, so I'm not going to go into all of what I'm doing or trying to do inside of my business today, because we really don't have time for that. But I want you to talk about. I want me to talk about. I want to tell you about how I came to even work on this specific task today, and why that's important is because what I'm working on right now is very intentional because of what I've been working on and how I've been structuring my disciplines around this business uh, in the weeks and months prior. So I'll just backtrack a few months where I shut down, sold part of my business, and I needed to open up some space for this new thing. I didn't know exactly what it was going to look like, but I had some ideas. Over the course of the last few months, I've kind of settled into this space where I think I know where I'm going. I'm really clear on where I'm going. That took some time. Now I've gotten to the point where I have some very specific goals to achieve in the next month, and that stepped into what specific goals I actually had this week. Now I want to stop right there because I did all this planning on Sunday, and I had like 4 things that were like my main things. 2 of those aren't even going to happen, right? And I want to explain that. 2 of them are not going to happen, not because I chose not to do them, but because as the week went on and I started getting other things done, I realized that my outline, or what I thought it was going to look like in terms of the 4 things I needed to do, wasn't exactly right. And that's okay, and that's actually very typical. For me, that is very typical. So when you're in a creative slash visionary season, a lot of the ways that you think things are going to happen are not going to pan out that way. The point is take a step, then go. Take the next step. So for me, the beginning of my week looked like just go meet with a bunch of people. I was meeting with a few specific groups of people and a few specific individuals. And from there, I got some more ideas on where to go next. So I'm going to pause again, answer this next question. And I'm also interested in this because I'm like, am I talking to a bot? I mean, there's a good chance that I am. So everything that I've worked on and thought about up to this point has led me to this place of, okay, I'm getting close to launching a website, a rebrand of a website, and what's called a call to action. So by having these conversations with the people I had this week, I got to I got to practice my pitch, so to speak. These were not sales calls. They were not intended to be sales calls by any means at all. I was information gathering. However, I found myself actually inserted into a sales opportunity, and that was in it. I wasn't even going to sell if the opportunity was there. I wasn't trying to sell to these people, and I'm not going to sell to the people that I was meeting with. However, I learned from those conversations. I learned that, oh, if you step inside of these groups, number one, I confirmed one thing. I confirmed my hypothesis about what the people groups I was talking to were thinking about to a certain degree. These are probably about I would say 7 to 8 hours worth of conversations I had this week with probably 10 people. 10 people. Some were in a group, some were individual. That led me to realize a couple things. Number one, what I'm talking about or what I have to offer, they are very interested in. Number two, I realized that I needed a place for them to go to get more information. So at the beginning of the week, the number one objective was talk to people. I had some other ideas that I thought I might need to do the rest of the week. But after step number one, step number two changed. Insert this this new idea or new understanding that I had to focus more on the website to give a place for people to go. The reason why was because I had so much to give that there needed to be a place for them to go more. That's one thing, to go to get more. And that's going to be a lot of work. And I know that's going to be a lot of work. So I didn't want to just jump into that right away and spend hours and hours and hours creating that if I didn't know there was an appetite for it, first of all. So I confirmed that. Now I can go work on that. The next thing was, let me think about this. I had this in my head as I was saying the prior thing. Okay. The next thing was I realized that I quickly was jumping into the how of, let's just call it my product or my service. I was jumping into the how. And why was that a mistake? It was a mistake because if people get caught up in the how, they'll start to question the how. They'll start to pinpoint all these reasons why, or why not, I should say. And they see where you're driving, and they start to figure out, or they start to think on their own where you're going. So they're coming up with their own idea of your purpose or your pitch, let's say. And that's a problem because you need to be able to control that. If this is a sales environment, you need to control that. Because they're going to go there and they're going to be like, oh, sales red flag or sales. What am I doing? The sales radar goes up. This guy's trying to sell me something. I'm out. Or I don't know. Or I guess probably the most important thing is I don't trust you because you're trying to sell me something. What's crazy about that is that I was not trying to sell somebody something at all. Yes, I'm definitely working on a business idea, but I wasn't trying to sell these people anything. And but regardless of that, at least in one of these cases, I came off as salesy because we started talking about that. I just was very transparent with the person. So what I needed to do there is just focus on where these people are, like getting to know the people, and then painting a picture of where these people could go. So as I'm speaking this stuff to you, I'm understanding that when I say I'm multitasking, I am literally doing it right now. Like I am practicing speaking because it's something I need to work on. I know this not only from my business idea um, thoughts over the last couple months, I know this from years of just starting my own business and then trying to get better, just trying to get better. And sales was never, sales was actually the number one issue of why I didn't start my own business ever. Like prior to me starting my own business, it was sales. I was scared. I was scared because I had never done it and I didn't know how to do it. And I was like stuck. I was stuck in this place of I had this story in my head that you're not a salesperson, you're an accountant. Like, it's crazy because I can't stand when people think I'm an accountant. A lot of people think I'm an accountant because I say I am. Whether I say it or I just tell people that whenever I do what I or say what I do for a living, I'm just like, I'm an accountant. It's just easier for people to understand. The truth is, the reason I did that was because I didn't really want to talk to the people about who I really am and what I really stand for. I'd just be like, I'm a bean counter. I freaking hate that term. I hate that term. All you bean counters out there, you are not a bean counter. You're better than that. It's so stupid. It's silly. It's dumb. Like, like when people call me bean counter, like I just wanted to punch these people in the face. Like literally, I got anger issues because that's not what I am. I'm a storyteller. I can literally look at numbers and tell you a story. That's who I am. That was one of the things that I could do. Skill. Didn't realize I had that skill. Took me a while to actually figure out that I had that skill. It's a learned skill. It's a part of it's God-given talent, but it's also a skill that I've refined and grown over the years. But if I go back to 6 years ago, why didn't I start my own business? Because I had this story in my head that I'm just a bean counter. Not a storyteller. I'm afraid to tell stories. I didn't even know I had stories in me until I started talking. I was afraid to make a sales call. You should see my sales scripts for my first sales calls. I mean, they're embarrassing. But they got me to where I am today. Got me to a 7-figure business. That's kind of crazy. Really? Somebody who's scared of talking, somebody who thinks they're this, then becomes this. How did I do that? Well, I took one step. I got on that first sales call, and it then allowed me to rewrite the script step by step, realize what I was good at, what I was not good at. I assess myself and say, how did that conversation go? And then do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again, and again and again and again and again and again. I'm laughing right now because in my head I just started thinking DJ because I used to be a DJ and we'd rewind the track, right? Rewind the record, cut it back, play it again, play it again. If I was trying to scratch something, you had to. So we had this old school like literal records. I got hundreds of records in my garage over there. I had to learn how to scratch records. I wanted to scratch records so bad. I thought it was so cool. Literally brought home a turntable from the school that I went to grade school with in seventh grade. This is a cool story, sidetrack, so I'll just tell it. In seventh grade, my Catholic grade school shut down because we didn't have enough kids, and they literally were like, "You can take anything home with you that is left in the school." So I took these two turntables that were boxed up in suitcases. I took them home. They were my first turntables ever. I was like 12 years old. These things were not equipped to scratch records on, by the way. Anyway, fast forward. When you're scratching a record, you're trying to get it to say something. It could be a sound, it could be a word, but the record is spinning, and you got to catch that record with your finger or two fingers, and you got to catch it. And if you're trying to make this cool sound, you got to be able to catch it and bring it back to the spot that you want it to play. While at the same time, you've got your other hand on the crossfader making these sounds. So you got to learn this muscle memory here. So there's two things you're going to do. You're trying to rewind it back to the right spot, but you don't know. You got to like intuitively like, do I rewind it this far or is it just like this? And you got to practice it. So you got to do that. You might have to do that 20 times, but eventually it becomes muscle memory and you're like, you got it. You're like, you get the sound that you were looking for. So same thing with my sales calls. I had to rewind that thing and go, what did I just say right there? Like that was a question and I stumbled on that question. I didn't get the sound or I didn't get the response from the other person I was talking to. So next time I'm going to try it again. Now, when you're scratching a record, you can do this really quickly, within seconds. It's harder to do this and get good reps in sales. You got to get out there and talk to people, and you got to do it often. So that's what happened with me this week. I was able to go back to, hey, 6 years ago, this is what I did. And now I'm basically doing market research right now. So I learned a lot this week, and that all led me to today. What am I doing today? It's Friday. I want to end this week having been very productive and moving my goals forward, moving the game that I've created for myself. This is a gamified process that I use to get stuff done in my life, including my business. So what do I need to do next? So I'm going down this podcast route. I know a podcast is going to take a lot of time. I want to take it seriously. I want to do it well. There's a space for me to get online and speak off the cuff. That's what this is right now. Podcast, different. Podcast, there's marketing approach that you got to get people to listen. And you actually got to have a compelling message and story during your actual podcast. Otherwise, people aren't going to listen to your episodes. So I could sit back here and say, well, I'm creating a podcast and I'm not doing it for business. I'm trying to just give something away to people for free. And if you have that attitude towards it, you might just say, I'm not going to take it seriously. Why would you do that? Why would you not take it seriously? Why would you do anything that you don't take seriously? These are some of the questions that came into my mind. Not that life should be serious and everything should be serious. What I mean by that is if you're going to do something, give it your best effort. I could go spend hours recording podcast episodes and they could suck and nobody could listen to them. And I would fail to get out the message that I know needs to get out. So it doesn't matter if it's about money, it's about impact. So that all ties into where I am today. I want to launch a podcast. I would love to record an episode a day for the next 2 weeks and be done with it. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to prepare. So if I prepare, I don't know how long preparation is going to take. But I'm doing research. I'm looking at some basic stuff. A lot of this is making sense. I don't think the preparation is actually going to take that long because this all makes sense. But I know one thing. I will prep for each episode. I will spend more time prepping for each episode than I actually spend speaking. Actually, I say that. I shouldn't even really say that because I don't know. I'm just assuming there. But that all leads into this current text thread that I've got going on right now. Basically, I got a guy who I'm texting with that is a podcast coach and has a process and a system towards it. I may or may not buy that. I'm assuming he's selling me something. But I get to kill two birds with one stone because I'm like, why would I do this? This guy's going to try to sell me something. Well, first of all, I decide if I'm going to buy something first. Number one, right? I decide. But two, this guy's selling just like I need to be selling. And again, even if you're putting something out for free, you need to be able to market. Like if you literally have something of value that's of significant value to the world, you have a responsibility to share it. So you got to figure out the way to, how do you share it with the relevant people and as many of them as possible. It's very simple when you think about it. So that's what I'm trying to do. And throughout this process, I've gotten very clear on who my target market is. And now I'm on how am I going to reach them. And I've been a business coach for a long time now. And just because you're a business coach doesn't mean you don't need a business coach. It is the hardest person to coach is yourself. And I do a very good job of coaching myself, but it's still hard enough to the point where I have my own business coach. But it is so hard to see yourself in the mirror constantly all day. You just can't look at yourself all day long and say, oh, correct this, correct that. I mean, there's so many things we are doing wrong every single day. We need people that are along with us, beside us, or looking at us and helping us. But you have to understand who you're trying to reach, because if you just create something without knowing who you're trying to reach, it'll be too broad. And then the people that you're trying to reach will be confused because your messaging will be off. It just won't be dialed in enough. It won't be as specific to really hit them how you want to hit them in a good way. So this takes a long time. It takes trial and error. It takes step by step. It takes planning. And then it takes action and review of that action and adjustment, pivot, next thing. So that's where I'm at today. This is what I'm working on Friday. And I'm working on this today for reasons that are very intentional. And a side note, I was going to talk about this earlier in the call, but anytime you're in this creative space, you're going to be constantly distracted. So you've got to set yourself up in a place where you're distraction free. And you've also got to understand that you've got to, yeah, I don't like time blocking per se, but you got to be able to make commitments to yourself that say, I'm going to do this or I'm going to spend this much time before I do something else. So for me today, there's some stuff I want to do out on my farm today, and I look forward to doing that. But I need to do this stuff now, and I need to finish certain things today before I can go out there and have fun. All right, that's work for me, but it's also fun. I enjoy it. My family will be out there. We'll be improving our farm as we do every day. And it's sunny out right now, and it might rain later, but I got to get this stuff done today because this is more important. I got to end my week, and if I don't get that stuff done today, I can do it tomorrow, or I can do it the next day. So I have to be super, super disciplined inside of my day to get this done. So, hey, I hope that was a valuable video for you. I'm excited to share that kind of stuff with you. So, take it into consideration if you're trying to start something on your own. Plan, 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 plan. Act, 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 act. Pivot, 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 pivot. Eventually, if you do those things on a consistent basis, you'll get to the destination that is the right destination for you.